Texas lives across on the other shore. So as long as they're together, we won't see them anymore.
Why don't we just run the whole picture? Just not bring Roy on at all. I mean, you know, what amazes me is we have Roy Rogers in the flesh, live on video tonight, and we're showing a movie that's 35, 40 years old. Roy, it's a pleasure to have you here, my friend, and Happy New Year. Thanks for coming on, and Dale Evans will join us here in just a couple of minutes. Okay. You were born back in Ohio, in Cincinnati.
Right. I was born in Cincinnati.
And how, were you there for a while that you remember your childhood there?
Actually, I was raised on a farm out of Portsmouth, Ohio.
Okay.
I was born in Cincinnati, but we left there when I was about a year and a half old.
Oh, so then you have no...
Went to Portsmouth now. And we moved out on a little farm called Duck Run. And I was there until I was about 18, and I came to California in 1930.
And on the farm, like, you had chores you had to do with your father and your mother?
Yeah, I milked cows and shoveled things and gathered eggs.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
golly, we had 300 chickens, and I haven't been back there since. I've been back to Portsmouth, but I mean, sure wouldn't want to wish this off on my kids.
I mean, you may be the king of the cowboys, but you're a city kid at heart, have I?
Well, no, I like the farm, but my dad worked in the shoe factory, and I only saw him about every 2 weeks, you know, on the weekends. And so I was the only boy. I had three sisters, and I had to do all the work, the dirty work.
And were you a budding musician as you were growing up on the farm?
Yes, well, so to speak. My mom and dad both played mandolin and guitar, and my three sisters and I all learned to play the mandolin and guitar. And we'd have a square dance at our house, and all I had to get was one other girl and three boys, and I had a square dance.
Sure,
you know?
sure.
We had our square dances about every other week.
And when was the first time you heard music on the radio? Do you recall that?
Heard what?
Music on the radio.
We had I don't know, it seemed like we had a little radio at those days. You could push it around. What do they call those?
Oh, the cat's whisker, the crystal set.
Yeah, crystal set. We had those. And had an old gramophone that you had those cylinder records on it.
Yeah. The crank talking machine.
And I had a lot of the old tunes in those days.
You know, at home, I picked it up somewhere. I got an Edison phonograph that plays the cylinders, you know? Mm-hmm. And so I got a couple of cylinders with it, and the darn thing works fine. Then these things were recorded like in 1903.
Yeah, that's what I got. I got several of those.
And I think to myself, some father or mother brought this home to the kids, and this is the first time they ever heard recorded human voice.
Probably was.
And I thought to myself, what did they think when they heard this miracle, which by our standards sounds just tinny and crummy, but when they first heard it, it must have been miraculous to them.
Well, I thought it was terrific. You know, that's the only way we got to learn other songs.
True.
And I never could read music, so I had to learn them off of old records and stuff that we got.
So when you came to California, you said in 1936?
1936, I came to... no, I was 1936. 1930, I came to California, but 1936, we went to the Texas Centennial, the Sons of the Pioneers and I.
So when you got to California, you were just a guy coming out here from the Middle West. You weren't a movie star.
That's right, and I was looking for any kind of a job I could get. I was working in a shoe factory in 29, and I came out here in 1930 to visit my sister. And I got a couple of jobs driving a little Model T dump truck.
Yeah. And
the guy had 4 of them, and he got in trouble financially and lost them. So there went my job. So I got to the point I'd just do about anything for a couple of bucks, you know.
Gotcha.
It was real hard, and I think that's how I got in the show business. My sister said she knew I played the guitar and I sang, and family style, you know. She says, honey, why don't you go up and get on that station, the KMCS or KMIC in Inglewood, 1930, 31, somewhere like that. Mm-hmm. And, of course, I was very bashful, just off of the farm, but she talked me into going, and she went up there with me. And when she introduced me, I just froze from my seat.
I was going to say, I could just imagine the first time walking into the radio station thinking, shucks. Man,
to this day, I don't remember what songs I sang.
Yeah.
But I sang a couple of songs. They took my name and address. And about 3 or 4 days later, I got a phone call from a guy, called my sister's house. And I joined my first group, the Rocky Mountaineers, back in 1931.
For heaven's sake. So the guy called you back.
And over a period of the next couple of years, I organized the Sons of the Pioneers, and we were together.
And did that lead to the pictures, the Sons of the Pioneers?
Well, I was with the Sons of the Pioneers, and we were on a good station, KFWB at that time. Mm-hmm. And when the last roundup came out, we made a terrific arrangement on it. So we started getting write-ups from the Examiner paper, and the officials at the radio station started listening, evidently, because they pulled the three of us off of Jack and his Texas Outlaws and put us on the staff at $35 a week apiece.
Wowzers. And that's when 35 was 35, right?
I lived in heaven for a long time there, I'll tell you. Yeah, that's when 35 was really 35.
Yeah,
that's right.
And at that time, I've always been told that KFWB meant that it was from Warner Brothers, that
That's
Warner
right.
Brothers owned the radio station.
It was a Warner Brothers station at that time.
But they didn't see any movie potential for you because you did your pictures at Republic, didn't you?
I don't... the way I got it, the whole thing's an accident.
It usually is with most people, you know?
Yeah, well, what happened was I was out in... I was with the Sons of the Pioneers. We were doing along pretty successul with the Sons of the Pioneers.
KFWB, right?
Yeah, and I was out picking up my hat. I had cleaned, my cowboy hat. And while I was sitting there waiting, a guy come in and he almost tore the door down. And he was about 6'6", about the size of John Wayne. And he was all excited. And he says, I got to get me a cowboy hat right now because I got to be at Republic Pictures in the morning at 8 o'clock for a screen test.
He spilled the beans.
That was his mistake.
Yep.
So I got to thinking about it, but I had no agent. I was scared to death to even think about it, but I said, I'm going to go out there anyway. So I went out, and I didn't know who I was supposed to see or anything.
Yeah.
They wouldn't even let me in. So I waited around, and I was started about 9 o'clock. About noon, I saw some people coming back from the restaurant from lunchtime. And I just got on the other side of this, about 40 people, extras coming back. And the guy on the guard on the gate is kind of sneaky, but you know, when you're hungry, you'll try anything. So I talked to him, and I looked around, he wasn't looking, so I just got on the opposite side of all these people and walked right in.
Right on going, huh? And
here's the other incident. Just got in the door, and a hand fell on my shoulder, and I thought it was going to be thrown out.
Yeah.
You know? I turned around, this guy said, well, hi, Lynn. Said, my name is Leonard Sly. He says, hi, Lynn. Says, what are you doing here? I said, I don't know. I said, I've been trying to get in here all morning, you know. And he said, and I said, they wouldn't let me come in. I didn't have an appointment, you know. That's what
I got you.
So he said, well, you got your guitar with you? I said, yeah.
Let me leave you right there for a second. As Leonard Sly, and you got the guitar, and I got the commercial to do, and Dale's coming out.
Okay.
We'll keep him in suspense for about 2.5 minutes.
Okay.
Back with Roy Rogers and Dale Evans and your phone calls after these messages.
Content with things as they are, folks who get rich spend their time complaining. That's the pretty how do you do? I sing a song when it's raining. Lucky me. Look in the mirror and you'll see I'm lucky you.
Yellow Rose of Texas. We're joined now by Dale Evans, Mrs. Roy Rogers. Dale, thanks for coming on. Happy New Year. Have we made any major mistakes so far, Roy and I?
It's just great. I watched in the other room. You both look great.
Well, thank you. Let me have him just finish here. He's Leonard Sly, and he's in Republic, and he's got the guitar, and the guy says, Len, what are you doing here?
Well, he asked me, I went and got my guitar with the car.
Gotcha.
He said, go get it. And so I ran back, and I was all out of breath. He said, take your time so you get your breath back. Waited a little while, and I got where I could sing. And I sang a couple of songs, and I was so scared. To this day, I don't know what songs I sang. But to make a long story short, that was like the middle of, first part of October. And he said they'd tested about 17 guys, and so far they hadn't found what they wanted. And I never once entered his mind until I came through there. We'd been out there as a group, the Sons of the Pioneers, singing background
music. Like you say, the whole thing was accidental.
Yeah.
The guy came in looking for a cowboy hat, and you went and, landed in the movies.